Lindsay here, the Frugal Crafter. Today we're going to do a painting in acrylics, and I was so inspired because I went to Acadia National Park on Saturday and saw the most gorgeous birch trees. Unfortunately, my photos didn't come out so hot, but luckily I had a chance to really observe. So I'm using the Turner Acryl Gouache that I got from Jerry's Artarama and a 9x12 canvas, and I'm using an actual canvas, not a painting board. So, and this was one I picked up at AC Moore. They have those huge deals where, like, this is a 9x12 and I think it was like a pack of 8 for on sale for $10, so it was a heck of a deal. And I'm just pulling down some of the sky blue color. Now this is a brand new brush and I am shedding. This is like a cheapo Oriental trading brush that I hadn't used yet, and now I'm kind of regretting using because it's shedding all over the place. But I'm just gonna go with it. I've just added the sky blue by itself, and then I'm adding in some white, and I really want a nice blue in the background to really make my fall colors pop. And while I'm at it, what I'm going to do here, and this is a brand new brush, so I do notice that sometimes with brand new brushes you get that awful shedding. I'm just gonna, and I just rinsed the sizing out of this, so I haven't even washed it properly. So there you go. Word to the wise: when you get a new brush, wash it before you paint with it with soap and water, so you can get out any of the hairs. I'm gonna do the edge of my canvas while I'm at it, just hitting it with some of that blue. And my brush is wet, so it's kind of watered out, but I just want to get something on there in case, because you know what I'm probably gonna do is throw this in my shop unframed with just like some eye hooks to hang it. So I just want to make sure that those edges look pretty neat and tidy, so it just takes out that consideration for a buyer. Wipe my brush off of way too much water in there. There we go. So what we have here, sky blue, lots of unfortunate bristles in that. You know what, I just can't deal with that bristly. I'm just gonna flick out all the bristles I can and switch brushes, because that's really getting on my nerves there. Okay, I want to put that in my water. We will wash that out with soap and water appropriately, and I'm going to just switch to this one because I see that this brush is, oh, I got another one. That's from the other brush because it's right there. This is a pretty decent brush. It's a Galleria Winsor & Newton. I might want to go in there and smooth it out with a fan brush though. And I'm just blending this in here. I just want to have a nice, a nice blue in the background that's going to make my fall colors pop. Yeah, so I'm pretty much just going to go from memory with this painting because, like I said, my photos didn't come out so hot. I was using my phone for photos, and that doesn't always go so hot. This is a brand new brush. I'm hoping that it's better. Luckily it didn't seem to have any sizing in it, so I'm just trying to smooth everything out with that. There, get that hair off of there. Okay, now I want to get some kind of colors down here. So what I think I'm going to do, just wipe off this drudge off of my brush. Grab a little of this burnt sienna here. And I'm going to add some of that in. I'm not cleaning my brush though. I'm just gonna kind of get some messy strokes in there. I keep finding strays from that first brush I used. Oh my word, I'm not going to do that again. I'm telling you. Let's just get some of this scruffy stuff down here. Nice fall painting. It's actually Columbus Day today, and it's a beautiful day, and I was just like, you know what, I really wanted to get a painting tutorial done, and I'd been busy, and I did have like another video already in the can that I could play today, but it's another jewelry making tutorial, and I'm afraid my painting people might have a little bit of a fit if I don't post a painting video today. That's going to be a few days before I get another one up. I'm going to be doing the hashtag Think Pink Art collaboration with the Creative Arts collaboration on the 15th, and that will be a painting. That'll be a requested painting of the pink snapdragons. I believe they're snapdragons. I took a picture of them at the Common Ground Fair, and I posted the photo on my blog. If you want a sneaky peek, that is what we are going to paint. Getting some of this green in there. This is I actually would prefer to be using a hog brush. Maybe I will switch, just because I can push, goodness, I can push the paint around a lot better. This is a Winton which I do actually like for acrylics, even though it is designed for oils, but I like it for acrylics. It's a nice hog brush. And I like to kind of keep these colors a little muted because I want my fall foliage to really stand out here. And get my edges with a little bit, water that down a little bit and get my edges here. I find that it takes some more paint with the on a canvas to fill a canvas as opposed to a painting board, like a painting panel, like the Da Vinci's, or if you make your own, you take masonite and you gesso it. I just think you have to work a little bit harder to get that tooth filled in, but not a big deal. I am, you know, and I probably wouldn't be painting this quickly if I wasn't doing a video, so take your time. Don't feel like you have to rush. I always feel a little rushed because if it goes over 20 minutes and I have to edit, and you know how much I love editing, right? I just want to fill the tooth of the canvas at this point, because with acrylics we can layer over. I don't need to keep the whites for my birch trees like I would if we were doing a watercolor. We just need to we can layer it over, so it makes it easy. So that's why I think a lot of people like to start in acrylics, because you do have that ease and it dries quickly. Now something I think I'm going to do, as long as you don't wet your paper more than 30% water to a paint, you're all right. It's not going to weaken the film, so I'm actually going to spray that because I feel like I just want to fill the tooth. I want to get that basic color. I'm going to be adding some texture. I just got to get that basic color down there. And I think another thing I'm going to want to do is soften that a little bit. I think I'll just do that right with this. Make that kind of misty. Maybe pull that up a little bit so I have kind of the golden rule there, the golden rule of thirds. We'll pull that fade up a little bit. My blue is dry, but I'm not going to worry about it too much. I just want to get that kind of knot broken exactly in the middle. It's kind of close, but it'll be fine when we're all done. Alright, now I think I want to use a sponge, and I've got one behind me on my table, I think. Here we go. And whenever you use a natural sponge, you want to wet it first and squeeze out the water, because you don't want don't want the paint to dry on that sponge because it'll ruin it. I've had this for years. I mean, I think I've had this sponge for 20 years. I'm not even kidding. Okay, now I'm going to just kind of tap in some far away foliage. Okay, so I'm just picking up some paint on my brush. I'm just going to get in some splashes of yellow. Go right around to the edge too with that. Don't worry about the sky, go right over it. That's what's awesome about acrylics. Now I'm going to grab some of that red. We don't need to worry about where the trees are. The trees will be where they end up, my friends. That's another great thing about acrylic paints. You know, and that's the thing, it's like when I see the fall foliage, I mean, sometimes I'm compelled to do it in watercolor, but a lot of times it's like, that's going to look awesome in acrylics. And I mix a little green and yellow here, because sometimes, especially with birches, you get this pretty bright yellow green. Alright, you're probably thinking, oh my gosh, Lindsay has lost her mind. What the heck is she doing here? I just want the little peaks. Just want little bits to peek out of that color of the sky. Okay, now I'm just gonna rinse out, I'm gonna stick that sponge in my water, rinse it out a little bit, but actually just pretty much leave it in there to dry. And then I actually want to do my trees with a palette knife. And the reason I'm going to do it with a palette knife is because then I won't be able to get too fussy with it. You could do it with a brush, absolutely, but I'm going to do a palette knife because that way I won't get too fussy about it. And I'm going to actually have these trees go right off the top of my canvas. And I do like a palette knife on a stretch canvas. That's the other reason I want to use a stretch canvas, because it works easier with a palette knife than trying to use a painting panel. And you You can scrape off some of the branches. Right, you're actually kind of scraping down to the canvas. Isn't that cool? I just think that's so cool. You're actually scraping right down to the canvas, but that's all right. It's not gonna hurt anything. I'm just gonna get the. You do another one right there. Let's get a little more paint out. So we've used the white, we've used permanent green medium, we've used cad yellow medium, I think it's called cad yellow medium or gamboge. Permanent yellow deep it's called, but it's more like a cad medium. And permanent scarlet, which is like a cad red. I know it's funny how different companies have different names for their paint. This is the Turner Acryl Gouache. This would be really good to do with a Liquitex heavy body paint as well. I just had the Acryl Gouache set, was just really handy. And the the big difference between that and other paints, other acrylic paints, is just that it's a matte finish and it's a soft body paint, meaning it's not really stiff. Like I'd be able to build up a lot more texture with the trees with like a Liquitex. So you can use whichever you like, any brand you have. I mean, and this is soft body. I think you could do even like a Delta Ceram coat and do the same effect. And a lot of these, when I'm scraping out, I'll actually end up going and painting in with black. And I am going to use black today because every once in a while I'm having fun doing that. So why not? There's no rule. When I'm doing I feel also when I'm doing with acrylics, there's no rule. I'll do whatever I darn well please. With watercolor, I'm a little bit more pure, a little more of a purist. But with acrylics, I'm just kind of like, let's go have a good time. Big old acrylic paint floozy here. Wicked. Okay, and maybe, just maybe, I feel like I need a third thing here, but maybe we'll do another tree that's kind of further away. Okay, we'll do that. We'll do one back there. Give it a little scale. Could do a couple actually further away, like that. Boy, we got awful lot of crooked trees in our forest here. Oh well. Well, that's fine. This is the forest of the crooked trees. Awful windy. Awful windy in my woods. Blowing all those trees crooked. I don't know why trees go crooked actually. Maybe because it's a really thick forest. I don't know. I'm not a tree expert. Alright. Okay. Now while that's still wet, I'm going to pick up some black. Yes I am. I'm doing it. I'm using black. Oh, I'm a rebel. And right on my dirty palette knife there. You just wipe off the palette knife to clean them. It's pretty awesome. And I'm just going to scrape some over. Give it some texture. We'll go back in with some more white because our trees aren't really that white at the moment. I'm not worried about it. I'm just kind of modeling the paint that I got going on here. Actually, I think I probably, you know what I would have done? It probably would, and I think I'm out actually, so I can't do this, but if I had it, I would go with a heavier body paint for the trees because it would be nice to have that really thick buttery paint to work into, but I think I am all out of titanium white Liquitex, which, memo to me, next time I go to the store or place an order, I really ought to grab a tube of that because I do like that. I also like the Chrome Acryl white. Block out white paint. That's a nice paint, especially for good quality student paint if you're like a teacher and you need to get some some paint for a class. I'm just going to get that in there. And I think while I'm at it, I'm going to grab a smaller round brush and throw in, I'm just going to wet that just to make my paint a little inky, and I'll throw in some of these branches because birch trees happen to have like they seem to have like a more of a darker branch than their body. From what I've observed, we have so many birch trees, especially around the coast. I just love them. You can find big stands of them all together. So pretty. So we went to Acadia National Park Saturday, and it's Columbus Day weekend. Of course, it's going to be busy, and I was prepared for that because I knew it was going to be busy. It's like the big leaf weekend. We went to Conway one year to go like to not Santa's Village, Storyland, and it was gorgeous. It was extremely busy because, you know, everybody else wants to get out and see the leaves, especially the people from the south, because they don't get to see this. You know, this is special. And my husband's like, oh my gosh, why are all these people here? They had all summer. I'm like, well, it's, you know, it's kind of a big thing. The leaves here. it's funny, you know, I don't think I take it for granted though. It's still, you know, takes my breath away every year, and I've grown up here and it's still, love it. It's gorgeous. If you ever get a chance, come to New England. And people tell me that it's not, you know, my husband's like, well, they have leaves everywhere. Why are they coming here? And but I think there's something about, I mean, it's got to be about the trees that we have too, and the fact that we have so many trees. But I think it has something to do with the cold too that makes them change so much. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it does have something to do with how cold it is. How like we get the cold and the rain and everything times out just right. Because some years you have better leaves than others. I am digging this painting. I am really digging it. I hope you're digging it because I'm digging it. I want a little more black here. And let's see, I think I want to let those trees dry a little bit. I know I'm going to need more white, so I'm going to squeeze a little bit more of that out while I'm at it here. And I think I also want to do maybe some like stuff down here. And let's do it on the kind of quick side. Let me see what I have. What do I have for brushes out? I think I need a fan brush, and I have all these new brushes. I don't know where all these new brushes came from. Oh, actually, I must have been shopped or something and forgotten about it. I don't know. No, I whenever I see a good deal, because I teach classes, I grab brushes, and these were like all 50 cents or something at Martin's one time. So, so I grabbed them because, you know, I go through so many brushes, and hog brushes tend to last really well. So, you know, I do find it's kind of worth it to get them. Fewer in the landfill, you know, if they're going to last, even though they come from an animal. But my family eats pork. I don't, but my family does. So I feel like I'm in for a penny in for a pound, you know what I mean? Alright, so what I'm doing is just flicking a little bit of this, I kind of made my own yellow ochre color because I already have these colors, so what I'm doing is just mixing a little green, little yellow, a little bit of red, some of that brown that's still hanging on my palette, getting some of that fall foliage. Also, I'm just kind of scribbling and tapping just to get this kind of mush. You know, I went for a walk in the woods with some friends yesterday. Our kids were having their cross-country practice, and we decided we'd, you know, get a little exercise. And that's what you see when you walk in the woods, in Maine anyway. You see this kind of, you know, all the colors of all the leaves that have fallen and gotten crushed, and years after years of stuff on the ground. You see that, and that's what I'm putting on here. A little bit more. And I think I'm going to switch to maybe a little bit smaller of a brush. Well, bigger than the one I just used, but yeah, this one will be good. We'll do a little bit of green, maybe pull up a little bit of this stuff here. Oh, I got some white in there. That's not a big deal. I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to grab a little bit more green. Pull some of that up, maybe a little bit of red. It's all fair game here. I really want to finish this in 20 minutes. It looks like I might. I don't know. I'm going to have to pause it and dry it so I can get a little bit more done in here. Why don't I do that? Why don't I pause this and let this dry a little bit so we can finish up with our birch trees, and I think we'll be done. Oh my goodness. Alright, I dried stuff. I'm going to go ahead and just throw some of these, with my brush, throw some of the black spots in my foreground birch trees here. I'm going to go back in with a palette knife in white. And throw in those branches. I also feel like I get a better quality if I just upload the raw file than if I edit it, because sometimes I have to mix it down so I can make it so it will upload in a reasonable time. So if I can do that, it's going to be good for you and me and everybody. I don't like to have to render something at a lower quality, but sometimes that happens. Get a little dark up there. Alright, just dab some of those in. Now I'm going to grab my palette knife again with my white paint. And I'm going to flick some of that right in there. Oh, the furnace is on. Let me pause this. Alright, I did a little work on this tree when the furnace was going. I'm going to show you exactly what I did. I took this, my palette knife, and just scraped some nice white pure paint across and did it on both sides. You can load up the edge of your knife that you want to that you want to use. Also pick up some other colors like blacks and browns and scrape those on as well, and then dab on some leaves, and that's all there is to it. I want to thank you so much for watching today. Please give this a try, and until next time, happy crafting!